What's up, everybody? Welcome to another WarThunder pilot video. This is Worcestershire. Yesterday I went into a match flying this Ki-61 and I had my best game ever in my illustrious career as a WarThunder pilot with 31 kills and no deaths. And rather than just showing you that game, I figured I would take this opportunity to kind of walk you through some of the tactics I'm using during the match so that maybe you might pick up a tip or two to help you improve your game. First of all, I'm flying the Ki-61 otsu, which is one of the best turn fighters in the game at this VR. It's a 3.7, and you can see here I've put it into a 3.3 lineup using VR averaging. And in this game I really lucked out with the matchmaking because the VR spread is 2-3 to 3-3, so already I've got a big advantage. Now at the start of every match I usually just climb because being at a higher altitude than most of the enemies really gives you an advantage. And while I'm climbing, I'm just looking for any enemies that might be also climbing and focus on them. And my first customer is this BF-109, so I turn towards him, nose down briefly to pick up some speed, then dodge his head on and loop around, pop in the landing flaps just to make sure I can get inside his turn and then take him out. Once he's dealt with, I sort of turn away from the bulk of the enemies, nosing down a little bit to pick up some speed, and then just look around me to see what I could possibly target next. And there's a Ju-88C, which is a German twin-engine fighter. I turn to face him, again dodge his attacks, try to loop around and line up a shot, and I end up putting myself in kind of a bad position because I'm really close and right behind him, and luckily his gunners don't do any damage. Eventually I'm able to take him out. Once he's severed, I pull up to gain some altitude and look behind me to see if there's anyone else close by. And now I'm in a really good spot because I'm at a comfortable altitude above most of the enemies. And you can see there's a lot of enemies kind of grouped up below me, so I need to be somewhat careful about my next move. I'm just waiting for the right moment to do a boom and zoom attack on somebody kind of on the edges of this group. And now I use the speed I gained from diving down on that hurricane to zoom back up away from this group and then reset maybe again at altitude. And now I'm back at a comfortable altitude. It looks like this group of enemies is moving away from me, so I just continue to gradually climb and look for the next opportunity. I decide to dive down on this HE-112 and Spitfire, and notice the Spitfire noses straight up at me, so I just do a quick head-on burst and dodge immediately. You don't want to hold the head-ons too long. So I just loop around and try to finish off the Spitfire, and then continue towards the HE-112. And again, I just use my speed to extend away, get some altitude, and take a look around to assess the situation. So I see there's an A-36 and a P-38, plus a few blueberries. So I turn around to take advantage of this opportunity. It's a perfect time to try to pick off the enemies as they're preoccupied with my teammates. This Ki-61 has a decent amount of ammo. I believe it's 1,000 rounds total of 50 cal machine gun ammo. So I'm not afraid to kind of hold the trigger down for longer bursts and just kind of try to hold my cursor to where I think it'll be scoring a hit. And the reload speed is really fast, 5 seconds, so I'm not too worried about running out of ammo. I sped up the video here just because it took a while for me to get to the next engagement. So I'm just cruising around at about 6,000 feet. I'm looking for any enemies that are kind of isolated from the rest of the group or preoccupied with my teammates. So I go into a dive to try to catch up to this Doe 17 and this A36, see if I can line up a shot. I find it's a little bit harder to get a kill when you're chasing somebody directly behind them like this. In general, it's much better to approach your target from the top or the bottom where you've got a much bigger profile to shoot at. As you can see here, I'm able to take out this lag, while the people directly behind him are shooting away and struggling to score a hit. And since that F28 sort of did a horizontal turn right in front of me, he showed me his full profile and I was able to kill him pretty quickly. So far in this match, I've been just sort of looking for enemies that are isolated from the group or preoccupied with my teammates, and I try to approach them from a higher altitude and make sure I don't wander too close to the enemy spawn point. So here's a Yak 1 and a J11 that are at lower altitude than me, preoccupied with one of my teammates. It's a perfect opportunity to score a couple more kills. I managed to severe both of them, and an F2H comes in, lands a few hits, minor damage to my left wing, and rather than trying to turn fight that biplane, I nose down to try to get some speed and extend away, because I'm not really sure how close the enemy is at this point, and there's a good chance that I wouldn't be able to outturn that biplane anyway. I could turn around and try to re-engage that biplane and the other enemies coming in, but I decided to continue my current path towards this lag and typhoon. I see both of them are now coming straight for me, so I try a short head-on burst, and then it's time to start dodging and looping. This Ki-61 is so maneuverable, and I'm able to take out this lag in the first loop. I keep looping, looking for the typhoon, but instead there's this P-38, so I take a shot. I still don't know where the typhoon is, so I continue looping. I definitely don't want to just straighten out and give him an easy kill. If you look closely, you'll see that I'm using my rudder, my elevator, and my flaps all at the same time to try to tighten my turns. And while I'm doing that, I'm using my mouse to sort of try to keep the camera on the enemy that I'm turn fighting with. So I've taken out the lag and the typhoon, and there's that P-38 that I hit earlier. Let's finish him off, and then go for this Su-2. Looking to my left, I see there's a P-36G coming for me and getting close. So I turn towards him, put my nose down to get some speed, and start turn fighting. Again, popping my flaps briefly and using my rudder and elevator at the same time to tighten my turn. So now I've got some breathing room because there's no more enemies close by, so I take the opportunity to get some altitude and continue my approach that's been successful so far of just looking for some isolated enemies to go for. That's two more enemies down. Let's do it again. We'll extend away, get some altitude back before we come back and look for another target. And here's an HE-100 all by himself. Should be an easy kill. Again, just extend away from the enemy, get some altitude, and reload. Now there's an F4F all by himself, another easy kill. Now I spot this lag in J6B to my right, so I turn to engage. It looks like the lag is focused on my teammate while this J6B is turning straight for me. I miss with the head-on, and my second attempt doesn't really do much damage. And as I'm looping, I look back and see the J6B hasn't really started his loop yet, so I decide to keep turning and go for him. It looks like the lag that was over here died, and now I notice there's an AT-112 coming in hot. There doesn't appear to be any other enemies close by, so I take the opportunity to sort of straighten out, get some speed back, and reload. Now I spot this Hurricane to my right coming for me. So I do my usual move, turn towards him, nose down to get some speed, dodge the head-on attack, and start turn fighting. I know Hurricanes are very maneuverable too, so I drop my landing flaps to tighten my turn. I see the Hurricane has lost a lot of speed, so I keep my landing flaps down until I line up a shot. Now I put my flaps back up, nose down to pick up some speed again, and reload. I'm making my way towards this other group of enemies, and I see the B-34s coming towards me. I avoid his guns by nosing down briefly and then going vertical so that I can get a better angle at him from above. I see this Hurricane coming for me, but I just want to take a second look and make sure there's not a bunch of other enemies close by. It looks like he's isolated, so I turn around to go for him. He sees me coming and turns around to go for me, but it's too late. Now I spot this isolated lag coming towards me, so I turn to engage. I'm not sure what he's doing because he doesn't seem to even see me. But I miss my initial shots, and it takes me a while to shoot him down because I'm directly behind him. It looks like the game is starting to wind down, and I want to try to get as many kills in before the game ends. I spot this BF2C coming straight for me. I figure I could do a quick head-on. It'll be an easy kill. But somehow I only managed to get a hit. I loop around to take another shot at the biplane. This time I get a critical hit, and then I extend away because I see that Hurricane's getting close. And finally, one of my few remaining teammates shows up, so I turn around to help him out and re-engage the enemy. I finally managed a severe hit on this biplane, and now I can focus on the other enemies that are preoccupied with my teammate. And there's that damn biplane again, it just won't die. Finally. I'm hoping to get another kill or two before the game ends, and I'm in a rolling scissors with this Hurricane. He eventually crashes into the ground, and then I start turning with this P-36, but the match comes to an end. So that's it. That's my highest kill game so far in WarThunder. And I was able to do this partly because I was flying one of the best turn fighters in the game, and I had a max down tier, but also because I chose my engagements carefully, usually only going after isolated enemies from an advantageous position, or going after them when they were preoccupied with something else. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Take it easy, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.